Hi guys, so I recently leveled all of my classes to maximum level, and I managed to get my warrior geared enough to attempt the Arms and Fury Warrior Mage Tower challenges. So I thought I'd post a guide on how I did the Arms challenge from a person who was not an expert in the warrior class. Meaning if I could do it, then so could you. Now at the time, my item level was around maybe 915 upwards. I can't remember exactly, but of course that would have played a part in helping me out. My gear was made up of relinquished items and loot from invasion bosses. I had no tier gear and only 2 legendaries. The legendaries I did have were the ring called Ayala's Stone Heart and the braces called Manaroth's Bloodletting Manacles. The legendary braces no doubt helped a lot with my self-healing and made this challenge a lot easier. I did make a big mistake during the fight, but I still managed to do it. So if I can do this, then there's no reason you can't do it either. So first, make sure that you use and bring with you an Augment Rune, a Flask of Countless Armies, and a Potion of Old War if you need the DPS boost. The food I used was the Nightborn Delicacy Platter, and I also took Drums of Fury to use when needed. I also highly recommend that you use the macro that's on screen now to macro your Heroic Leap. This macro will make your Heroic Leap jump to where your cursor is pointed at on the screen. This makes the dark phase of this fight so much easier. Now I did not watch a guide before doing this, so the talents that I picked were what I thought was appropriate for me. I chose Sweeping Strikes for the level 15 talent, as you definitely need this for the second part of the fight, for the ad phase. You can pick Dauntless for the first phase, and then use a Tome of Tranquil Minds to switch to Sweeping Strikes during the roleplay leading up to phase 2. However, I did not find much of an issue in starting with Sweeping Strikes. For the level 30 talent, I picked Shockwave, as this is a must-have for stunning the ads in phase 2. For the level 45 talent, I picked Trauma, since it was a passive ability and would be effective on the ads in phase 2. If you find you need more burst damage for the ads in phase 2, then Avatar may be a better option. For the level 60 talent, you need to pick Bounding Stride, as the reduced cooldown on your Heroic Leap is very important. For the level 75 talent, I picked Titanic Might. This was to increase the duration on Colossus Smash, meaning you can have this applied to the boss for a very high percentage of the fight, therefore dealing increased damage. For the level 90 talent, I picked In for the Kill, as all of the talents in this section seem somewhat useful, so this is what I went for. But I do think looking back that Focused Rage may have been a better option. And finally for the level 100 talent, I picked Opportunity Strikes. And again looking back, I really should have taken Anger Management to help reduce the cooldown of my Bladestorm and Battlecry. This did not stop me from killing the boss, but you may wish to pick that instead. So the first phase involves you fighting the Archmage, and to be honest, he is pretty easy in terms of how you deal with him and his abilities.
From Azeroth's ley lines directly into my magnificent self. Drained of magic, your world will be ripe for destruction by my demon masters, and my power will be limitless.
So I just charged in, used Battlecry and started to DPS him down. When any set of his ice hits you, you can use a combination of your AoE abilities, such as Warbreaker, Cleave, Bladestorm and Whirlwind. Just make sure you have Warbreaker and Bladestorm available for phase 2, as you will need them. The shards don't have a lot of health, so I just DPS'd them down. I chose to kill the ice shards as it gave me a Victory Rush proc, which meant when the ice was destroyed, I moved towards the Archmage and just charged through the beam and used Victory Rush to top up my health. I then used Pummel to interrupt his Frostbolt cast and moved him as close to the middle as I could. This was so when he teleported to the other side, it would take me less time to get to him. This would be a process that I would repeat at every transition.
I need to get closer.
Now after the third set of ice spawns and the mage teleports across, move to him as you've previously been doing. Interrupt his Frostbolt again to bring him closer to the middle. However, the next time he disappears, he will enter into his dark phase. Make sure you have Heroic Leap ready for this part. When he teleports, you will see a sparkle effect as to where he has landed, so Heroic Leap to him as soon as possible. The macro really helps speed up this phase, as you can easily die if you're not fast enough. When he starts casting the purple orbs, dodge as best you can, as they do hit for a large amount of damage. And when he casts draw power, interrupt the cast and again move to the middle, as he is now about to teleport once more. Get to him as fast as you can, use charge, and once again interrupt draw power when he casts it. Now as before, move straight to the middle, even if he does not follow you, as he is now going to go into his second dark phase, and if you're not close enough to the middle, you have a higher chance of dying here. So as before, leap to him and DPS him down. I got hit by a purple orb, and as you can see, it did a lot of damage, so just be careful. He is about to begin his ice attack again, so DPS them down as before, and then move to the boss. At this point in time, he may start casting the purple orbs again, so dodge them if required. However, for me, on my run, I knew that if I could now get him to 10% health, he would now transition into the next phase, so I just focused on DPSing him down, and he started the transition into phase 2. It's at this point in the fight that you will need to use your Tome of Tranquil Minds to switch your talents to Sweeping Strikes and Shockwave if you have not already taken them. So for this part of the fight, move to the edge of the platform and let the boss come to you when he spawns. Avoid the purple void zone that he spawns from underneath him on the floor, as it does a fair bit of damage and it also slows you, and just DPS him down until he casts Seed of Darkness. Do not interrupt this. Instead, use Heroic Leap to jump away and move as far away from him as possible, as the adds are about to spawn on top of you. Now when the adds spawn, cast Shockwave to stun them, then use Warbreaker to apply the Colossal Smash debuff, then use Battle Cry and Bladestorm to DPS them down. You then just have to repeat the process all over again, but maybe without Bladestorm on the second add phase. This is where having the Avatar talent may be more beneficial for you. Now I did the first set of adds almost perfectly, but when the second set of adds spawned, I really messed up. I cast Shockwave, but I forgot to cast Warbreaker to apply the Colossal Smash debuff to all targets. Now this is super important and it really hurt me, as 2 of the adds made it to the boss and healed him up by 20%, so make sure you don't do what I did. Now at this point you just need to repeat the process, and he should be close to dying after the next add phase. I however was annoyed and thought I had failed, so I popped my drums and just focused on DPSing him down as much as I could before the next set of adds spawned. You will need to decide when it's the best time for you to use your drums. So the third set of adds spawned. I used Shockwave, Warbreaker and Bladestorm correctly this time, and this was enough to get them down. I kept Battle Cry to use on the boss, as I knew if I could get him to 20% health, then I would have a chance of killing him due to the execute ability coming into play. So as you can see, I'm now in execute range, and I'm using this whilst maintaining the Colossal Smash debuff, and his health starts to go down pretty fast. And luckily for me, he dies just as he begins casting the 4th set of adds. If I had done the second add phase correctly, then this would have been a much cleaner and more comfortable and quicker kill. However, I was still pleased I did it on this attempt.
Speak freely, friend.
Anyway guys, this was my guide on how to do this challenge. If you've managed to do this, then congratulations, I hope it went better than my attempt. Now go and collect your Mage Tower Challenge skin, and thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.